here in New Hampshire. I'm Scott Spradling, hosting a quick conversation about the International Visitor Leadership Program. It's the U.S. Department of State's premier professional exchange program. Through short-term visits to the United States, but also through online opportunities, current and emerging foreign leaders in a variety of fields can experience this country firsthand and cultivate lasting, meaningful relationships with their American counterparts. Joining me today is my very good friend, Eman Borg, who participated in an IVLP program back in 2020, currently focusing on social, political, and economic issues for young European leaders. Eman lives in Malta and is currently an MA student full-time, and a few of his previous positions include chair for the LGBTIQ+Gozo and Secretary General for the National Youth Council. So thank you so much for joining us. And first, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing in your home of Malta.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be connecting with you, Scott, and everyone listening to us. In fact, my name is Eman. My pronouns are he, him. And currently, I am still the coordinator of LGBTI+Gozo, an organization that we founded in 2015. And also, as you well mentioned, I am doing my final year in MA in International Sports and Event Management in Berlin. And apart from that, quite active within the human rights issues here in Malta and proud alumni of the IVLP.
I love it. So before I ask you about your experiences, tell me why you decided to join the IVLP program back in 2020 and what you were hoping to get out of the experience. Why'd you do it?
Of course, the why is a very important question. It's the core of why youth should be active in global issues, especially in such a time where there is challenges across different continents. First and foremost, to give the context, that was the IVLP program was happening, we were going through the thick and thin of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are talking here about the year 2020. And so it was important that even through the isolation of COVID-19, youth activists and also young people in general keep connected with European counterparts. This was a regional program with European youths across different countries. And it was important for me to keep connected, to see and to experience, although virtually, good practices also across the pond in different states across America, which was important also for us to understand what is happening, the different measures that COVID-19 is forcing, or maybe also allowing us, activists and politicians and CEOs and other change makers, to be creative in such a challenge. And that was important for me. It was important to connect, to network, and to talk and to share ideas.
I love that. I think it's a unifying force that whether you're in Malta or in New Hampshire or in Europe, anywhere in the country, there is a need to get more and more young people involved. It's a challenge here in the United States, most certainly. Do you see, from the perspective of then, with your participating in 2020 with this program, and now, are you seeing any new doors or programs that are being launched to try to attract more and more young people into getting involved with politics?
From a national level, yes. From a national level, the opportunity is still there. But also, let us remind ourselves that the IVLP program was an in-person program. And through the challenges of COVID-19, it was transferred into a creative outlet of virtual experiences. And this is yet another opportunity that young people had, and also were given the opportunity to continue a network through this virtual platform, which is stronger because you can also connect with different people in a short span of time in your living room. And this is very interesting, that the input that you can give through an IVLP experience online is definitely being transferred through an output of working with the community, working in grassroots levels. And the connections and the networks that young people can make through experiences like the IVLP is invaluable. It's a long-lasting, life-lasting experience that you carry on with you and that you can implement during your day-to-day work. And so that is, in essence, why it's important for young people to participate, to attend, and to be vocal in spaces such as this.
I love that. That's a flattering endorsement of the IVLP program, Iman. Thank you for that. And it sort of answers my question about why people should get involved. I'm so thankful for this technology format and technology in general to shrink the miles, if you will, so that we can be connected like this. I want to ask you a little bit about some of your fond memories of 2020 and participating in the program. I know you had cause to be able to talk to young activists and party leaders on the Republican and Democratic side in New Hampshire, and also had a chance to uniquely watch the 2020 elections. What were some of your reflections and takeaways from that time frame?
Very well put. Also, the unique experience to experience the 2020 elections. Such an elections, whether or not you're a Democrat or Republican, are important elections. Youth participation in democratic process is important. Is important for individuals to go vote and to vote informed voting, and voting on policy that is dear to your heart, and also be vocal on the change that you want to enact. And through of the virtual means, what was interesting was also to experience the day-to-day concerns, to experience the day-to-day aspirations and dreams of Americans across different states, especially New Hampshire, that we had also the opportunity to meet different individuals and to see the democratic process seamlessly being put forward in front of you, and seamlessly also understanding what are the key issues that young people are facing in the States, which then you realize, and then when you map them, are quite similar. The small island state that is Malta, inflation, COVID-19, youth unemployment, and access to human rights. These are all issues which transfer themselves through continental grounds, and that's important. That's important to be aware of. And these are some of the fond memories that I have because they hit home. They are real, and we are talking about real, tangible situations. And the IVLP experience then provide the space for real, tangible solutions.
So let me step back from IVLP and lean into your experience with LGBTIQ+. Are you seeing, whether it's in Malta, in the United States, or even globally, are you seeing the advancement of the interests of this community? Is there more understanding? Is there better awareness? Is there any greater compassion now than there was perhaps a few years ago? Is there progress being made?
I would say, dare to say, it's a very loaded question, especially when it comes to LGBTI realities. A loaded question also because I am coming from Malta, which is considered to be the first when it comes to LGBT legislation. But we should not fool ourselves. The rise of anti-transphobic, anti-homophobic comments and actions are still present across a global continents, and I think we are need to be also being very much aware that as LGBT activists, we are to connect more and to be more to converse more, and to also be more strategic in our approach on promoting the fact that this is a human right, this is a basic human right. And what I am very much aware is also that Malta has a very strong responsibility to promote practices when it comes to the legislation, and also the work that we as activists do on grassroots levels. And yes, there is more awareness, there is more social media outreach through the virtual platform that we are so much accustomed to use. But that doesn't mean that through the corners of the world, oppression is not happening. And I think our responsibility is to call out for justice where injustice is happening, and to call out for access where inaccessibility is happening, and to call out for basic human protection where improtection is happening.
I appreciate that insight, and that's quite an eloquent response. Thank you for that feedback. I do appreciate it. Knowing that you're going to be reconnecting with the IVLP program again sometime soon, what would you say are the biggest benefits to being able to shrink the borders, connect by technology, and develop these relationships? What value do you think others will have by participating in IVLP?
One value which I really appreciate in programs such as IVLP is the ability to connect and to converse and to communicate in a safe environment where you have a conversation even with those that you don't agree with. We're not going to agree on every principle, on every value, or on every policy. But shrinking the border, as you well said, gives us the opportunity to sit down and have an adult conversation without attacks, without defamation, without the spaces where we are so much accustomed to attacking individuals. And it is important that we have a healthy debate, a healthy discussion when it comes to things that are important in our life. And I believe that what the IPLP framework has been doing for decades is a healthy framework where all the perspectives are allowed to have a fresh of breath air, have a fresh conversation. And that is a key value for youth to get away from social media, to not hide anymore from the digital self, and to be accountable for their statements. We need to be accountable for our statements, be it online and be it in person. And such face-to-face interactions will allow us to be accountable, and so therefore will also allow us to be more responsible on what we're saying.
Eman, thank you so much. Again, eloquent words, wonderful advice, and the direction I think we should all be taking, especially when it comes to social media. I look forward to connecting with you again after your next chapter, and we'll have another conversation about progress made and hopefully more relationships developed internationally through this program. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.